Hello, weirdos. It is another Riot at the Movies, and we have guests. Morgan doesn't count, but, he's often here. Mr. WOC Archive, Mr. 5,000 Tapes, Mr. Mischief of Media. It's Morgan White. But also
Hello.
with us as our special guest today, it's Jon Cross from the After Movie Diner, which, John, I'm going to tell you, for the couple of years that I've known of what you do, I have constantly called it the after dinner movie. Right. And then even that I've heard you say it, I've still called it that. I think it's probably to do with the Super Channel's dinner and a movie thing they used to have. Beans and cornbread. Specifically this week, I thought it's a great time to bring on some new faces because our Terriblefest event is coming up, and I want people's views, and you have a lot of great views, and you spit out knowledge and information and humor in big chunks in your show. Was just watching the recent episode with you and Matt on there as you talk about two amazing movies for me, which, Morgan, I wonder if you have seen. The first one was Tyler. Yes, you're right.
Tough Guys Don't Dance. With,
I don't.
No, don't cry. Isn't it? Wait.
No, it's Tough Guys. Isn't it Tough Guys Don't Dance? I thought.
Now I'm mixing them. Yes, it's the one with Wings Hauser and the one with
Wings, yeah.
Oh, no! I've seen, yeah. Oh God! Oh no! Oh God!
Yes, Tough Guys Don't Dance. Yes, it's a canon movie that they gave
to Norman Mailer.
Norman Mailer. They gave Norman Mailer the chance to make a movie of a novel that he, wrote in like 3 weeks because the publishers were like, "You need another novel. We keep paying you a stipend and you're not giving us anything." So it was like, all right, I'll write this like weird noir kind of romance ghost story. And then when Cannon came calling with bundles of cash, Norman was like, sure, I'll make that. Get me Ryan O'Neal, Wings Hauser, and Isabella Rossellini. It's got to be the weirdest cast ever committed to
so odd.
If for people who don't know of it at all, go into it with the concept that it's Twin Peaks before Twin Peaks.
Yes, completely and utterly. Yeah, it's Twin Peaks in the sense that Lynch loves to, not just in Twin Peaks but also in Wild at Heart and Lost Highway. He loves to play with essentially kind of the genres that are very Americana, right? So he loves film noir. He loves like 50s car hop movies and
a soap opera
and soap operas, right? So he kind of always slams those together. Tough Guys Don't Dance. You have to watch it knowing that it's trying to not only be all those things about 2 years before Twin Peaks would come out. It's got the Badalamenti score as well, which is awesome and very evocative. But Mailer is also doing a love letter to his part of Massachusetts, the Cape Cod area. I'm going to forget the name of the town now, and people are screaming out area in Massachusetts, which Mailer had a house in, and they film in his house, part of the thing. And it's a ghost story. So you have to understand that it's like 10 things all at once.
Which you will forget that it's a ghost story. And when it reminds you, you know that.
But weirdly, and this was the conclusion I came watching it with my kind of Wings Hauser, a ready for anything kind of improvisational eyes, I sort of realized if that's what he was going for, he kind of hit it, man. Like he kind of made that movie. Like as bizarre as that movie would ever be, he kind of was successful at it. So people sort of, I don't know, watching it ironically or laughing at it or thinking it's a bad movie. I'm like, he kind of did exactly what he wanted to do, which is rare for, I know he'd made some shorts before, but this was his first feature. So,
and he also went into it with a little bit of self-awareness, as you can see in like promotions that were out for it, where he said it's also the worst thing he's ever done and the best thing he's ever done, and that was like in the trailer for the movie. So he wasn't committed to selling it the way they wanted him to sell it.
No.
Norman Mailer stayed as a weird click in my head of pulp culture because for the first 2 seasons of the show Webster, he's a running gag because Webster has a classmate called Norman Mailer, and every time he says, I was talking to Norman Mailer the other day, and he always says the full name, and then he stops and goes, the other guy. Yeah. And like there's like a weird inside joke to them that like no kid would have ever got. It's very weird.
Ooh, I am cool. I am really cool. I am super.
Your second film, which is a movie that I have screened before. I know the what was it? It's not the Review. What's the old place we used to go to? The Royal in Toronto.
Yeah.
Screened it once when they found an actual film print of it. Is Hologram Man, the PM Entertainment film, which I was asking you the other day, Morgan, if you remember me showing you that, and you just said, I think I just got too high during that one.
Yeah, I mean, you may have shown it to me, but I don't remember any specifics.
Right. Well, it's a lot of...
I have all the PM Entertainment films as my backdrop tonight. So
beautiful.
Because
I especially love Bikini Summer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look at that, Bikini Summer.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
I think at Eyesore, we have a VHS of Bikini Summer and of Final Impact.
Yeah, and Deadly Bet there, and that CIA
there's Wings
Alexa.
Hauser. There's Wings Hauser right there on Cold Fire.
Yeah, we got a few of those.
Yeah, so Hologram Man's fascinating because it is written by the supposed villain of the movie, Evan Lurie.
Yeah.
The supposed hero of the movie, and the guy who gets his name above the title, Joe Lara. What's mad about Hologram Man is for the entire movie, Joe Lara just fails. Like there's never, normally in an action movie, like they go up against the bad guy, they fail, and then they regroup, gear up, go back, and like succeed. Hologram Man, they just, because Evan Lurie wrote it, he's like, no, man, I'm going to just keep winning. They keep doing these assaults on like where Evan Lurie's hiding out. There's like 4 or 5 shootouts in the movie back to back. And they never win at all. Like Joe Lara literally has to, can I spoil the ending? How are you on spoilers?
You could go ahead because we've talked about it on here before.
So Joe Lara, the so-called hero of the movie, who doesn't achieve anything of any worth throughout the whole film, he's much better in Steel Frontier, which you should definitely watch. Steel Frontier is phenomenal if you haven't seen it. But Joe Lara has to kill himself and get like re-brought back as a hologram, and then I think like miniaturized or put into some. It gets super weird towards the end, but
which is so unnecessary too.
So unnecessary. All they needed to do was write like a line in there where he's like, yes, you can't kill him 90% of the time, but when he's under fluorescent light or something, you can kill him.
The real answer is just as dumb.
Right, exactly. No, true. But it's just funny to me that it's a movie that is driven entirely by its villain. Also, its villain, if depending on which side of the political spectrum you are, its villain in Evan Lurie is actually talking about like taking the city back for the people, like getting away from political corruption, getting away from corporate influence. Like in our world or my world, certainly he would be the good guy. He'd be the one I'd be rooting for. And the movie's called Hologram Man, so maybe I'm just getting it wrong. Maybe he was the good guy all along. I don't know.
Hologram Man.
Yeah.
It's Joe Lara was, because he has passed away, was the most charismatic, uncharismatic guy. He looked like this sort of beautiful leading man, kind of action hunk, but like barely in anything did he ever do. Like he had a TV series of Tarzan, which was based off that era of pulp where Tarzan would find like mystical characters, and then he would go back to the city, and he was hyper intelligent as well as like a kung fu monkey man. It had everything it needed, and still he had zero personality.
Yeah. So there's. Have you seen Steel Frontier? Are you aware of?
Yes,
Steel Frontier?
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I have.
It's PM Entertainment. It's not the most perfect PM Entertainment film because it kind of departs from a lot of what people expect from a PM Entertainment movie. But it is probably their best. I think their best movie in terms of what could have been a Hollywood picture, like the way it's made, the way it's shot. The way it's acted, even the way it's written, the explosions. I mean, that chimney explosion is one of the largest explosions that any film company has ever done, let alone, I think, it's only like, is it Lethal Weapon 3 where they blow up that building at the beginning of it? And that building was set for demolition. And so they just kind of have the stuntmen run out. And then the city was actually demolishing it anyway. The PM Entertainment crowd destroy an entire, whatever it is, however many stories, 100-story high brick chimney, like a smokestack, essentially.
Oh, wow.
that apparently I was talking to the director, and apparently he even had like the old school plunger. He wanted to do it plunger style. That was something that the demo, the explosive expert on set was like, Paul, the director Paul Vaughn was like, you've got to let me do it like with the old school plunger way, because we're in this sort of like quasi futuristic Western. So I'd love to do it like with the plunger. Paul was like, as long as it works. He just went boom, and by about the fifth time it erupted, and it was such a loud explosion that a guy several towns away who was training a bull in his backyard got gored by the bull or attacked by the bull because the bull freaked out by the volume of the explosion, which has to be, and he sued PM Entertainment. That's going to be the only time a film company's been sued because someone non-related to the film got attacked by a bull. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, great
The whole
stories.
PM Entertainment world is, for those who don't know, is kind of like Canon on crack.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
They start a lot of their movies with like this. It's like they get their budget right at the beginning and blow it up, and then they got to figure out how to make the end happen. You've got these great genre names like Cynthia Rothrock and all of her like group of friends who've kind of stayed together to this day, actually.
Yeah,
But,
Don the Dragon Wilson, Gary Daniels, Matthias Hughes, who they've been with lots of films. He plays the villain in a bunch. Yeah.
And you'll be able to find it. They haven't gone into the world yet where there's documentaries that much on them, like there is of Canon. But I think that's something that's about to happen. I think there's been so much talk about it. But if you're going to want to get the skinny on it all, it's a new podcast coming out. Seem to have heard about it. I don't know who's doing it about PM Entertainment. I think that might be you, John.
I wonder who. Who. Yes, it is. I am launching in March. It basically, I mean, the After Movie Diner had kind of gone down to like friends talking about whatever, and sort of coming out like once a month, which is absolutely fine. It's a big long podcast. You can listen to it in multiple sittings. And so I was sort of, as you pointed out, Adam, that there's not been a documentary about PM Entertainment, and think I'm in the process of trying to, over the next couple of years, sort of mount one. And that, by the way, is a scoop. Nobody else apart from close friends knows that I'm working on that. But that's kind of where I want to go. And so while I was doing that, covering some of the films for the diner and things like that, I just thought, well, how's the best way on a weekly basis to just keep interest in any of this stuff, or even to see if there's interest in any of this stuff? And I wanted to get back to sort of the 30, 45 hour long max kind of podcast that covers like one film, does it pretty professionally. We go into stats and figures and behind the scenes stories and all that kind of stuff when we can find it, and just have a way to assess A, if there's any interest, and B, to, as you say, kind of drip feed this idea of a potential documentary. So I'm starting up the PM Entertainment podcast. The first episode will be coming out in March. We're not going chronologically because I figured if we went chronologically, there would be about 12 movies in a row that, apart from us, no one else has ever heard of, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to kind of do some heavy hitters up front. So Rage, of course, because Rage is sort of the ultimate. If there's a PM Entertainment film that pulls off PM Entertainment perfectly, it's Gary Daniels in Rage. It's sort of there when people think of the company. That's usually the movie they're thinking of. So we're starting with that. We're going to do Steel Frontier. We're going to do The Sweeper with C. Thomas Howell, and C. Thomas Howell made, I think, 4 films for PM Entertainment, and he directed 2 of them. And all I'm going to tell everyone is go find Pure Danger. The C. Thomas Howell written and
Just
directed.
the concept, not the movie. Just go outside and find Pure Danger. For my friends who live in downtown Detroit, just go outside.
Yeah. Find C. Thomas Howell lurking in your bushes, making a movie you didn't permit. That's Pure Danger, right? You go outside, you're like, what is C. Thomas Howell doing? And in fact, weirdly, C. Thomas Howell is about to embark on some ill-advised rock country fucking second career. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening there.
Oh, no.
Steel Frontier and Pure Danger. the Two Wings House, Art of Dying, and Living to Die, those movies justify the entire existence of PM Entertainment and everything, because they gave the world some truly beautiful gonzo whacked out art.
I mean, to be fair, anything that has Wings Hauser in it deserves to exist.
Yes.
Well,
That's my
Art of Dying,
my
is
viewpoint.
that not also written by Wings?
Yeah, well, it's written and directed by him, isn't it?
It is.
I've
It
definitely
is,
seen
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, we screened that one at ISOR before.
Yeah, he gave the credit, I think, for the script to Joseph Merry, who had sort of come to him with the idea. But Wings' argument is that once they got on set, because Joseph Merry, it was early in their PM Entertainment, Joseph Merry was from Syria, he was not a Native American speaker, and Wings Hauser said that when he read the original script, he said, I think a lot got lost in translation. So instead, he decided to drink his body weight in alcohol, like some kind of 6'5" Oliver Reed with a perm, and just spew out whatever madness came out of his head. I mean, at one point in that movie, he's in a deck chair on the beach in Los Angeles.
Just knocking back a bottle, too.
Knocking back a bottle with a pit bunny rabbit by his side that doesn't appear in any other scene.
You're suspended without pay.
Jack, there's somebody here to see you.
You like it?
Well, with that, we're going to talk about some weird things and show you some weird clips, John, because what we do when we bring guests on is we victimize them by making them our audience.
Okay.
I consider myself a sick person. I guess because I enjoy watching other people watch what I want them to watch. That's why Terriblefest exists. Terriblefest has been a little interesting this year because I think more than ever, it's been terrible films that are self-aware. They're weird, they're artsy, they're bizarre. So this way I can kind of like throw them around any way I want because they're in on it.
Right.
Over the years, there were moments where I'm looking for that Neil Breen made by a high school student kind of thing, and those come up too. And sometimes I feel kind of bad going, oh, maybe that 19-year-old student doesn't want me to make fun of them about this, but even that they sent it to me and paid $2 to submit the film. But this year, I think we have a free-for-all. However, first things first is we're going to be making jokes, not just about the films. We'll always make jokes about us, but my commentary for you, John, is this clip that I'm going to make Morgan play because when I listen to your podcast in audio, I'm like, there's something in the accent and the voice that clicks with me. And then when I see you, there's something in the beard that clicks with me. And I think, oh, he should shave his head. And then he should be part of a new Michael Bay film that's remaking the cartoon Mask. And he should be this character in this clip right now that we're going to play.
All right, here we go.
Hey, look at the great dog. Come on, pal. Let me pet you.
Not the robot.
Careful, Scott. You know that dog?
Oh, yeah.
No.
But you should
but
play
he's so
Alex
friendly.
Sector,
You have
driver
to
of
be careful.
Rhino, the
Of course
truck.
not.
And
Remember,
classic
you're a
80s cartoon
stranger to
mask.
him too.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Alex
beard.
ought to know. He owns
Well,
a
and my
pet
beard
store.
used to be red
Thanks
like
for
that.
the tip.
Yeah,
I won't
so
pet
did mine.
any strange
Yeah.
dog.
Things
That's
change.
the best way to keep the dog from
Oh,
being
yeah,
the best
definitely.
friend.
It's not
Next
1985 and
thing
Mask is not being made anymore.
I know. But
There
I
you
like
go.
how there was no attempt to even make the beard look natural. It's just a bright orange. They're like, people have bright orange beards in reality. And like, no, not really. But yeah, go ahead.
That cartoon was famous for its only having like 3 voice actors, and every member of Mask, their angle was their nationality. So Alex was their English guy, and then they had Soto, who was their Chinese guy, who was voiced by the main American voice actor.
Yeah.
So
eek.
yeah, so so you could almost guess without me doing any impressions where that went. They later on had a guy from India join the team, but his name was Andy Bombay.
Oh,
I was like,
God.
he didn't even try.
Oh, it's so funny because I was talking about bad movies that are not self-aware. I decided occasionally, and it's interesting you have me on the show to kind of do this, occasionally like touching a sore tooth, I have to pick out those movies that people say are terrible, like especially big Hollywood movies that people say are the worst movies ever.
Yeah.
And as someone who's been a huge, unironic, completely genuine fan of Howard the Duck since the day it came out, when anyone says like, "Oh, it's a really bad movie," I'm like, "Yeah, right, sure." So I checked out the other day the absolute stinker, Master of Disguise, the Dana Carvey movie, which I'd never seen, but I'd seen tons of clips of, and I'd seen sort of heard how terrible things about it. So when you're saying about like the 80s Mask and a character called Candy Bombay, whatever, this was a movie from I think the early 2000s. Like it's into the new millennium, and he literally does a snake charming Indian cat, like in full brown face and everything, in the early 2000s. So I love it when anyone tries to sort of make us out to be like a lot more forward thinking. I always say to them, yeah, we thought that in the 90s. Then we thought that again in the 2000s. But if you go back to those 2 decades, like the 90s was the last time the political correctness thing kind of exploded and everyone was going on about it. You go back to stuff from the 90s, it's not politically correct in any way at all. And Master of Disguise, as I said, was early 2000s. So, we'll be sitting here 30 years from now going, ouch, I can't believe I said that.
When did the Love Guru come out? I feel like that was like 2012. That Mike Myers one where he plays an Indian dude. Yeah, wild.
Is he in full brown face, or is he just?
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a good point. Maybe he isn't. Maybe he's just. Anyway, I've only saw the movie once. So.
It's like the Airplane 2. I guess Airplane 1 and 2 has them in them. The sort of Maharishi Guru guys who say, "Do you want to buy a flower?" at the Hare Krishna guys. There's a lot of the times that was the sort of joke of that was that those were white guys. Like California was full of them. They were just like hippies who decided to look like that. And so there's 2 levels to the joke. Like for me as a kid watching old Christopher Lee Fu Manchu films, I thought the point was he was an English guy who, like Raj Al Ghul, took over a part of Asia and was just racist and evil. Like I thought that was the bit. Like, but people were like, no, he's supposed to be Asian. I'm like, that just makes him a war villain then, doesn't it? But before I thought he was some evil white guy who took over something there and decided this is how I want to be, which made him more evil to me. But that's such a white guy's form of naivety. So let's go on to some clips of some of the movies that were sent to us. What we're doing on the 25th of this month starts a full month of Terriblefest. We'll be doing streaming, posting more films from people, doing some stuff just for our Patreons, and we'll be doing at least 4 live events showing films. And it starts Tuesday the 25th of this month, which is all people who have sent me stuff before, people I've played their films in past years, but they sent me more stuff this year. So I was like, I'm not repeating you guys. So many of them sent good stuff. So while good stuff, I will say in air brackets, which will start. One of them will say pool toy on the file, Morgan.
Yep.
This is this person sent shorts before. They even have a feature this year called Air Fryer Slaughter. But this is a short film they made with their nieces in their backyard with the voice of Lloyd Kaufman dubbing over the random shark toys they had already owned. And they just filmed it, and then Lloyd just over the phone just talked some nonsense. Man. And here's a little clip of Lloyd Kaufman's incredible voice acting.
And here we go.
Hey Mom, Audrey bought this weird creepy toy online. She said it was free or something. It just seems weird. What should I do?
It's bought it off Amazon or something. Is he in a box?
Where are you?
It gets worse when he's underwater.
Something bit my toe.
That was it's just Lloyd making moaning sounds.
This is going to be the summer nobody forgets.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Oh, where's Audrey?
Well. What have we here?
You can talk?
Yep. I can talk and do much more. Come in the water.
I love that you can hear the clicking of the shark thing underneath.
That's the
It's so
genius of
good.
it. That is
Yeah.
the genius of it.
There's 2 toys, and Lloyd's the voice of both of them. So
Why not?
Wait, there was
Why not?
2 different ones?
yeah, there's a blue
Oh.
one that we haven't seen yet in that scene, but they both show up together, but they both have Lloyd's voice. It also somehow involves the devil, and it's 17 minutes long. And those who will be at the alumni night at Eyesore Cinema on the 25th get to see all 17 minutes of
I wish I was
Toy
there.
Shark Massacre.
Can't wait.
And of course, I make this whole bit nonsense because it's Matthew Mark Hunter's film known as Pool Toy Shark Frenzy. They thought they'd shake it up with putting a new word like frenzy in there. Good for you, MMH. It's well, I think there's already a DVD that the Mark, the filmmaker, has released for his feature Air Fryer Slaughter, but he has so many short films. His YouTube, usually after a while, after he's spread them around, he sends them to festivals and stuff like that. Then he just posts them on YouTube, all the shorts. But I do think he needs to get like a Blu-ray of just the best of his shorts. He has a film that involves a evil inflatable sex doll, and that would be not the first, not the second, nor the third film sent to Terriblefest that has same plot. That's the same plot. Killer inflatable dolls has showed up so many times at Terriblefest. In the things that I sent you, Morgan, does one of them say Undead Psyche?
Psyche, yep.
Yes, yes. Okay. It's I just typed whatever as I edited a minute out of a 10-minute short film brought by the artist known as Gore Filth. And Gore he appears in my Farces of Death film. And famously, he sent us a short that I've used in my shows forever. Morgan, you would remember it from it's the Gore Ape Massacre, where it's a guy in a monkey mask killing inflatable dolls.
Yep, yeah, I
and
remember that one.
Cuts off the penis of a male inflatable doll, and we just watch it bleed for forever. So once again, now
Classic.
with his wife and his mom, I think, in his new one.
Is this the same film director as the Shark Toy?
No, this is
different one. Okay,
yeah. Mark is Mark Hunter,
so we move on quickly then. We don't even.
Yeah. We're not. We're just gonna just
rapid
bombard
fire
you with this stuff. We're just gonna bombard you, and then
I want to comment on it. I want to get.
Oh,
into
okay,
it.
sure. I mean, feel free, but feel free to interrupt at any time. But I just realized that as I was talking, I was like, ooh, I gave myself a segue. I talked about inflatable dolls.
Yes,
and
right into the thing, and I ruined it. So I apologize.
You ruined nothing.
I ran right through your segue. I went to hell with your segue.
Just like the guy who made the segue when he drove off a cliff with it.
Yeah, right.
That's exactly what I thought when everybody said segue. That poor bastard.
Yeah, right.
I think he did it on purpose.
I'm gonna make them remember.
I was going to make one comment about Shark Toy Pool Massacre, or whatever it is, or 2 comments actually. First of all, kudos to the director for when the shark went underwater, even though Lloyd Kaufman is obviously the big draw of this short, that you went, oh, can we get away with him having the same voice underwater or not? No, we have to be true to the fact that he's underwater, and we're going to just quash it under reverb and, muffled sounds or whatever. So that's the first thing. Well done for doing that, because if I had Lloyd Kaufman in my movie, I don't know that I would, walk all over his voice like that. So well done for that. The second one is the use of the word massacre. So I'm very good friends with Tim Gross, who does, he's out of Pittsburgh, who reviews movies all the time of this caliber and more. He's probably the biggest supporter of independent film in the United States. And I'm not joking, to the point where he now has a festival in August, Gross Fest, which is entirely for independent filmmakers. And we have a running gag about massacre movies with the word massacre in the title. And he went ahead and I think I came up with a list of well over 100. And I think he came up with another like 300 massacre movies at a certain point. But then the other 2 that we always talk about is first of all, he's watching and writing about all the Amityville movies. And anyone who knows that Amityville has been put on, 1,000,001 movies, because it's not a trademark name anymore. But then also there's Academy movies. So I often wonder, would the ultimate movie title be Amityville Academy Massacre or Massacre Academy in Amityville? Like, what would be the ultimate movie title? I don't know. But anyway, that's my little bit on those things.
I like Massacre.
The Amity Academy Commando Massacre.
That also works. Yes, that's fantastic.
With that being said, see, I'm going to take your break of the segue into another segue, and we're just this is like a Billy Connolly telling a story.
Yeah.
So the most recent one coming up by SRS is Amityville Infinity or Multiverse. I think they have both. They just release 5 of them every time. And since I made the film Amityville Outhouse, I got a weird message going, hey, we have this scene where someone breaks into the multiverse and clips from like every Amityville shows up. SRS doesn't own your film, but can we show a scene of your film or at least have the title fly at somebody and hit them in the screen? And it's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I? That's ridiculous.
A million times. Yes.
Yeah. It's so. And
I love that though. I love that independent movies are getting meta. That, you know, on one hand, yes, they're ripping off Marvel and all these sort of multiverses, but on the other hand, they're going, no. We have already intertwined our own stories with these names, Massacre, Amityville, or whatever. We've already started on a journey of multiverses that you can only ponder, Marvel. And so I love that they're, you know, yes, they're ripping off, but at the same time, they're giving back. And that's what I love about it.
Well, it's a concept that, and I think when people asked me as well when I made Amityville Outhouse was, are you just cashing in on it? I'm like, no, I'm not cashing in on it. I sold 200 copies of that and then it stopped. Like that was never an expectation of that. It was the fact that I was making fun of the fact that there was a Amityville Dollhouse, Clown House, Fun House. Those 3 titles existed.
Dildo.
Right. Yes,
Dildo.
It was Dildo. And I actually, Nathan made that. I'm good friends with Nathan. I actually quite like Amityville Dildo. That was actually a higher peak than some of those films.
Yeah.
But so most of these people we're just doing it.
It's a girthier peak?
Yeah.
Girthier.
Yeah, it had more girth to its Amityville. Yeah. Amityville, actually, no, it's Amityville Vibrator is Nathan.
Vibrator, right. Yeah, sorry, yeah. It's an important distinction. Very important distinction.
Yeah. Right. One is animated. That's the magic of it.
One has attachments. No. Accoutrement. You can buy
I mean, only if you spend the big bucks, but
the extra money,
yeah. So but people don't think that we're self-aware of this stuff. They're wrong. Right. However,
how could you not be self-aware with the things that you guys make?
This is for me and for Nathan, because you know we're deep down kind of pervs that way. But but for every other one of them, there's a lot of guys in our scene would call heroes to us, and they're now just doing the clickbait thing. They're just like making 5 a year, just putting that cover on it, getting Wild Eye or SRS to make a cool cover, and the movie's just a bunch of guys sitting around going, hey, so did you hear about that house Amityville? Yeah. You ever get bitten by a shark? Yeah, you know that sharks come from Amityville? That was where Jaws was. Oh yeah. And that's the whole movie. And like nothing else happened.
We noticed something that everyone else who's ever seen more than 2 movies has noticed, and then we put it in a scene.
Yeah, but we didn't show it to you. We had just 2 guys talk about it.
Right, we just had 2 fuckers we don't care about.
Right, and then someone will complain to that director, and that director will be like, "It's being Shakespearean. Sometimes you need to just explain it instead of showing it." Yeah, that's your reason. Sure it is. Yeah. Unlike Gore Filth, who we're going to show this clip right here of undead scythe killer, there's no other way to warn it, so go ahead and play it, Morgan. I'm more excited about his wall clock.
Oh, that's sweet. I didn't even notice that the first time.
Also, are those tattoos or are those leggings?
I think those are leggings.
Oh.
Does everybody keep toilet paper in their room out just sitting out like that?
And they just get
immediately a sarcophagi.
This is somebody else. It just cut away. This is even my edit. I didn't cut this part.
Okay.
Oh, there's the scythe.
And now I'll do a quick edit cut in here. So, but that first cut, not mine.
sweet front door as well. Look at that oval glass.
Yeah. With not much gusto there, just kind of a slow push. Oh,
And that's just some song that says "fuck you."
Wait, she stabbed her in the back and then slit her throat.
Oh no,
Yeah.
she just bled blood out her mouth. I
Well,
think.
they need to clean up that grouting. That is some moldy grouting right there.
So I just
like
gave
that that's your
Just
takeaway.
pause on that picture.
I
Yeah,
love that was your takeaway, was the moldy grout.
Moldy.
No quality of the film, just the moldy grout.
Well, I'm just saying, you don't want to get the black lung or whatever.
That's important. Gore, deal with that in your
Yeah.
shower. And I know that's your shower, Mr. Gore Filth, because you've used it in several films.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that you've been in there before.
I've been there.
I too have sat on the toilet going, he really needs to redo this grouting.
Now you're going to make me look at my grouting next time I go take a dump. I'm just going to sit there and be like, how filthy is my grout?
Well, we are pushing to a point where we're all just start podcasting about grouting. Podcasters devoid of any other bad films to talk about, and now going to just sit at grouting and do some live streams.
I mean,
I think I
thankfully
could
there's
redo that.
more than enough bad
Yeah.
films to talk
There
about.
will
that we
always
don't
be
need-
more
yeah.
bad films.
Yes.
But the sad thing is, I bet if we just made the grouting show on YouTube, it would get more hits.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Well, it would be everyone underneath it who are professional tilers who would just be like, they don't know anything about grout. Let me explain grouting.
I mean, I would do it just as a troll. I'd do the
Yeah.
shittiest possible job
Yeah.
just to piss everybody off. It's like those jerks that take Wagyu beef and cook it in like ketchup for
Yeah.
6 hours.
Right.
Right.
Like
So
just
that,
destroying it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that everyone will complain. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
yeah, God, don't get me started, folks.
I
However-
know. But we have to be careful because if John Waters did it or someone akin to John Waters, we'd all be like kissing his ass about it. So like there is, yes, I know what you mean. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, they're terrible people. Yes, I hate everything. But also the idea of maybe it's in a weird way like grunge outsider art pornography. I have no idea. I don't know.
I
I'm
mean,
trying to clutch
sure.
at positivity.
Yeah, that's nice. Those people still aren't John Waters, so I'm not going to give
No,
it to you
okay.
completely.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I
Yeah,
have
I
to
know.
like check myself when I'm not just like punching down, but you know.
Morgan got a chance to interview John Waters once
I
for,
did,
for
yeah.
a documentary on Rep
Was it-
Cinemas.
He was a lovely man.
Very
We offered to pay for his cab back, and I gave him a 20. And then he was like, "Oh, darling, that's too much money," and he gave me a 10 back. It was so nice. We picked him up at his house. He was like the loveliest man. It was great. A really good experience. It's nice when you meet somebody like that and they turn out to not be an asshole, and you're like, "Oh, good. The person that you portray is actually the person that you are," which is
Yes.
really nice.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, we can all say that we have probably also witnessed the opposite of that.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Many times. But interestingly, doing a lot of interviews, audio interviews on podcasts, even when I can tell I've pissed them off at the beginning, I can kind of win them back weirdly. The famous one that I did was with Peter Weller. And I knew he was a doctor, but this was before, like now every YouTube or Instagram video that Peter Weller does, he starts with like Dr. Weller, real one, not one that was just given away. And you're like, all right, dude. Like, okay, you did fucking Italian Renaissance art. Fine. Everyone give you a hand job. Let's move on. Because this doctor
Wait,
thing.
That's
seems
what
to be-
he has a doctorate in Italian art.
He has a doctorate in, I think, Renaissance
Dude,
Italian
fuck
art.
that guy calling himself a doctor. Are you kidding me?
But he
Just give him an
started-
Oreo cookie.
Yeah, just eat your damn Oreos and shut up.
But this was before he was even on Instagram and doing stuff where he was talking about it. The only time I'd heard him talk about it was on the Kevin Pollak chat show. And so I didn't think I had to call him Dr. Weller. So I start the show and I say, "Thank you very much, Mr. Weller, for joining me today." And he just goes, "Doctor." And I go, "Sorry?" And he goes, "It's Dr. Weller." And I said, no, yeah, no. No. Then he goes, "What? You don't know that I'm a doctor? Wait." And I went, no. I knew you were a doctor. I just didn't know that you used like doctor. So I apologize, Dr. Weller. He goes, no big deal. And I'm like, but it clearly is a big deal. Like you just,
Yeah, if you want to be that
I
guy.
love you, Peter Weller. You are phenomenal. But like, it was a big deal, and so he was a little prickly at the beginning. He admitted to me openly while we were recording that he was watching college golf, which I can't imagine. I mean, I fucking hate golf anyway, but college, like amateur golf, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to watch that either. But
while doing the interview, like
doing the interview. But I won him over when I mentioned that I was going to do Of Unknown Origin. I wanted to talk to him about of Unknown Origin and oh man, what was the other one I talked to him about? Anyway, of Unknown Origin, we talked a lot about. Shakedown, Blue Jean Cop.
Right.
And I wanted to talk to him about those films and not Buckaroo Banzai and RoboCop. And he immediately was like, "Oh my god, let me tell you about George Cosmatos." So he immediately like went into it and was fine. But there was a moment there at the beginning where he was like chilly to me because I didn't call him doctor off the bat.
I've heard weird stories about that actually. When he was directing, what was that vampire series they filmed in town for a bit? It was it's just like a one-word thing. It was like a wannabe zombie / vampire series that came out, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, he was directing episodes for a TV series filmed in Toronto, and a lot of like regulars who come by Eyesore were set designers and extras on that, and they said he's so cold and angry sounding when you hear him saying stuff to people, but he wasn't really directing the extras and of course not the set designers. But at the end, when he had done his final episode, he wanted everyone to come up and he wanted to shake everyone's hand individually, learn their name, and say thank you. So it was just super confusing. He came off so scary and so not a nice person. And then he did like this really nice thing for everybody. He said like how important the little guys are behind every project, and that it was like, oh, okay, we can't walk away angry from you anymore. Like,
so the next time he's in Toronto shooting something, just tell the crew to sit him down on the first day. Everyone call him Doctor. And screen Of Unknown Origin, which was also shot in Toronto. So
there you go.
Screen that, and then he'll immediately be won over. Like that. That's how you break the ice with Weller. Is you just talk to him about that and about Italian Renaissance art or Roman artifacts. He loves all that stuff.
I mean, that's a great tip for something that's never going to happen. But thank you.
Right.
I'm never going to need that info, but thank you. It's great tip.
Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, fair point. You never know.
Never know, man.
I'll bump into him. We'll start talking about Unknown Origin, and then somehow my topic will just stay on Shannon Tweed the whole time. And so that's I'll always go off topic when it comes to Shannon Tweed. And actually, this connects back to grouting in the walls because this is a long walk, and we'll take you there. But it's basically to explain my friend Morgan here, who collects home recorded tapes. And he gets them from people who say, I've got 100 tapes that my dad used to tape off TV. Don't know what to do with them. Anyone want to take them? And Morgan's there at their door.
I'll take them.
Or I then find for him to rip and archive special interest tapes. The more boring and monotonous, the better.
Oh, yeah. Give me the tedium. That's all I want.
Which I know there has to be a grouting tape in there. I definitely gave you a tape about like tiling at one point. There's a tiling tape I got on just some random trip to a thrift shop and said, this is for Morgan. But
our friend Charlie Roxburgh, who directs a lot of the Farley motor media movies, Charlie Roxburgh once gave me a VHS cassette tape about baggage handling at Heathrow Airport.
That's great.
Which is fantastic. That's fantastic. And whether you know, I don't know whether you know Morgan, but I've been over the last year running a little secondhand VHS DVD booth in my hometown here in New Milford, Connecticut. And
that's awesome.
And I've been, either getting people donating VHS or selling me VHS or picking it up from the house or whatever.
Cool.
And so you always get, boxes and boxes of like National Geographic tapes and stuff that you can't really sell, but whatever. And two of my favorite, and I know you will appreciate these. One is the Choo Choo Barn. And the Choo Choo Barn is a VHS like gift shop tape that you get at a place called the Choo Choo Barn in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And it's one of the, longest running model train set miniature village kind of place.
That is so.
I mean, I want all of that.
All of it
sounds amazing.
No, it gets better if I have time. I know we're going long, but it gets much better. Okay, it gets so much better. So the tape opens, and you've got obviously shots of the choo-choo barn and the miniature things, and he's telling us all about how they have a fire station and an old courthouse or whatever, right? Then he starts in on this story, and this is how he's trying to sell it to people. This is like a tape you play someone and go, we should go here, So he tells the story. He goes, well, you know what always happens. The family pulls up in the station wagon, the father, the mother, and the kid get out. The father and the kid are all excited. The mother doesn't even want to be here. Yep. She's all strawberry. We don't want to go in, blah, 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 blah. And the father's like, well, I'll take the son in and whatever. You wait in the gift shop, blah, 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 whatever it is. This is the story he's telling. And then he says, of course, after 30 seconds, the father and the son are coming back out from behind the curtain. I'm like, there's a curtain? Now that conjures up a whole other thing. There's a curtain. I'm like, wait, what? When they come back from behind the curtain, they say, you've got to come in. You've got to come in. And they pay for the wife to come in. And then, of course, the wife has the time of her life. And it's just this. It's this sort of mid-90s mild sexism. Like, it is sexism, and it is sort of 100%. Pejorative and awful. But it's sort of this, like, Pennsylvanian just kind of, the woman wasn't into it, but she got one around. It's like, and then, of course, the capper to the story, and just if he hadn't been fucking sexist enough, the capper to the story was, of course, and then we can't get her out of the gift shop. Wah, wah, wah. I'm like, because women love to spend money, right? Yeah.
Amazing.
But I can't even think of how to insult him. But the choo-choo barn in Pennsylvania, I've only watched the first 15 minutes, but the fact that story was in it, I'm like, okay, that's it. Like, I can't, there can't be more gems. The better than that.
That's cool. That's definitely the kind of stuff that I like to find.
I will tape it for you and send it to you.
That would be wonderful.
The other tape, and this is much quicker to explain, but no less interesting. It's Tiger Splash.
Oh.
Which, by the way, already is fantastic. I don't have to say anything else. All I have to say is Tiger Splash, and you just go, sure, whatever.
That's definitely a tape title that I would pick up on the shelf. Be like, yep, I want to know what this is.
So it's a theme park in, I think, Arizona or New Mexico.
I thought it would be an ad for some Wet and Wild game.
Yeah.
It's like Slip and Slide or something. It's a theme park. All right.
We push tigers along the bit of plastic and hose them down, and we wanted to see what happened. You're not far from the truth. So it's a theme park in Arizona or New Mexico called Out of Africa, and they every day they throw one or two, probably heavily, sadly sedated tigers into a swimming pool with like 3 humans, and they attempt, for the pleasure of children, to kind of put on some kind of ramshackle show of humans and tigers bathing together. And there is a tape.
How is that even impressive? That's not even that impressive. Who gives a shit? Those poor tigers being forced to do that, and that can't be that impressive to watch.
No, and there's something on their website where I think
I'm like Googling it right now.
Yeah, no, if you look about it in Tiger Splash, it's still a thing that goes on, or at least it's on their website.
Biggest splash out of Africa. Yep, connected to Aqualand.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's video there. All right.
Throwing tigers into water, and I think at one point on the VHS he says, like, sometimes we get a little close, and there have been some maulings, but and whatever, like. But whatever, but normally the tigers and the people in a large pool of water surrounded by people making lots of noise and eating food, that's never been a problem. That's always been fine. It's always got off without a hitch.
I hope the tape has one of those "Don't do this at home" warnings.
Yes, exactly.
Unless you come and you're one of the guests, and then you get to do it. Yeah,
right,
when we're watching you get mauled by the tigers. You can only get mauled if you're here.
Yes. They should start to just throw random tourists in the pool.
That sounds great.
Anyone from Florida.
Especially. Them first.
So I'll let you explain what the tape is, Morgan. But the
Okay.
reason I asked you to play this one, we've played it on a WOC Archive show before.
Yeah.
And John, you love sort of the Americana filmmaking concept, as when you throw it over to the the jumping the shark right away kind of mentality.
Yes.
And this tape, which I will let Morgan give us a down low on it first, I feel really fits in. This clip we've used in our shows before.
All right, so this is I have a whole slew of tapes that are just playouts of Laserdisc games, old Laserdisc games. The collector that I got this collection from was like big into pinballs and video games and all that kind of stuff. So he just collected ephemera, and this is the full Laserdisc playout of the Cops arcade game, which we can't 100% looking online confirm that it existed or not. Some people say that they played it, but other people say that it never existed.
Right.
I mean, I assume it did exist at some point because I wouldn't
photos
have
of the
this.
machine.
Yeah, well, I'll show. You'll see a photo of the machine here. But so this is this. I just went through it and cut together. But basically, like you know how a Laserdisc works, it's just a playout of things, and then it jumps to chapters. So what I have is literally just the whole thing. So it's just choppy edits. So I've gone through and cut this into something. So let's take a look. So yeah, this is what it looked like. So you would shoot and drive.
Location with the men and women who work in law enforcement. All suspects are considered innocent.
And depending on what you did in the level, it gave you a clip to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Rick Wilson. I'm an officer with the Los
Rick
Angeles
Wilson.
Police Department. I'll be your partner today. To survive in this business, there are
I
two
bet he's
things
not.
you need to do. Drive well and shoot straight.
Yeah, drive well and shoot
You've
straight.
seen the TV show.
That's the most LA
Now,
cop thing I could think
play the
of.
game.
And experience the thrill of real-life law enforcement. You have a responsibility.
Because, you know, I remember people getting shot on cops, right?
Yeah, all the time. Just one after
Real
the
life
other.
law enforcement is just gunning people down who are not cops.
You're armed with a 9mm handgun. 6 shots in the magazine. Let's see how you
6
handle a
shots
weapon.
in the magazine.
You killed my woman! He killed your woman? Yeah! He just shot an innocent person.
Fire at the ammo chamber to reload.
Okay, that's enough practice. To survive in this
All right,
business,
here we go.
That
Here's
is
the
enough
driving.
practice.
shoot straight. You choose.
So, do you recognize this lot, this back lot?
Yeah.
You'll recognize it after this turn, because that's the clock tower.
Marty!
Yeah, so this is the Universal Studios backlot. So they filmed this whole thing on the Universal Studios backlot.
You should have cameos of like famous other cars and trucks.
Oh, that would have been great. Yeah, Kit should have been somewhere.
You're way off. So get back on track. You got that?
Got that.
Now watch out, because these guys shoot back.
Not unless you murder them all first. Every single one of them. There's like so many different killings in this game. It's ridiculous.
Oh, one more thing. Take 3 hits, and it's all over. You shot my woman! He shot my woman!
Yeah! Oh. 3 hits.
Yeah, that's it.
Game over.
Oh, goodness me. That was glorious.
Isn't that great?
Oh, that
I
was
mean,
stunning.
I honestly would love to play this game.
Yes. Why are we not playing this game right now? Why are we doing this show when we could be playing this game? That's tremendous.
I also love on that tape that the other game that I remember that the long playthrough on there was of the Gallagher click and shoot game.
Yeah, I have the whole Gallagher click and shoot game, which is really
Nice.
fun. Yeah, I got a ton of them, but that one is like the most
Oh,
bonkers.
Cops is a gem. That's an
Yeah.
absolute gem. And that's it's just fascinating. And it's weird because it's always that dichotomy that I live through, which is I love all that stuff, I love all that, like ridiculous cops and ridiculous guns and chasing the perps and whatever. As long as it's in a movie.
Oh yeah.
I hate it all in real life. So it's this like weird, like give me all the Chuck Bronson movies where he doesn't even care. It's just someone with someone's wearing a bandana. I better just shoot him in the back. You know what I mean? Like it's just I'm all for that. I've watched every episode of Steven Seagal's Lawman, and it's fine. But in reality, I'm just no. It's just
which is weird that it's cops, and then because the show Cops was supposed to be footage of real things, and then this is an obvious actor literally done on the Universal Studios.
I mean that might have something to do with why it didn't go wide, or maybe people don't actually remember it, is because it's so counter to what the actual Cops TV show is that when they put it out, they were like, maybe not.
If they did the Steven Seagal Lawman one, they would have to have a level where you had to drive a tank into an enclosure to break up a cockfight. Meanwhile, killing some dogs in the process is a thing that Steven Seagal actually, to break up 2 chickens fighting, he drove a tank into someone's enclosure.
Wild. What a madman.
Killed a dog in the process. That story is absolutely true. He never wants it to get out, but it's absolutely true.
And here we are. We're putting it out of the world. Fuck you, Steven Seagal.
Like Steven Seagal needs to have more bad things said about him.
Whatever. I mean, can a piece of shit get any more shittier? I don't know.
Apparently so. You can
apparently so. You're
dog
right. Okay,
while trying to break up a cockfight because he lives in some kind of bizarre Western meets Arnold Schwarzenegger world, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. He had made some recent post that was like a photo of himself with gold writing saying, "This is a hard time for everyone in the world, and I hope that I'll see you on the other side when we find peace together." Yeah. And I think Will Sloan posted that, and my immediate response back to him was, "What an asshole."
Total asshole. What a pile of garbage.
There isn't a good story about him in the world, but no, by all means, be preaching peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. Wow, what a weird thing. So what I'm going to show you right now, John, is my favorite clip from last year's Terriblefest winner. This is called Cicada, I Was a Teenage Horror Movie, which is a guy my age, so mid-40s, maybe a couple of years younger, maybe closer to young Morgan over there. But he edited some high school videos he made with his little brother back in the mid-90s. And he made it and edited like 10 different homemade films to look like one feature film, and sort of made weird subtitles and weird edits to make it seem like a movie. So it's really just a collage and memory clip of like whatever the hell him and his little brother were thinking of, whatever they thought a movie would be back in about 1995.
Great.
So here's my favorite.
I'm all in. I'm all in based on that.
Here we go.
Mason?
That's the guy who made it.
Sir. Coming, sir.
That's their mom for some reason in the background.
Just making dinner. You fucking kids. I'm trying to cook dinner for you.
The little brother dies in every clip, so they just put a word on there that he's a different character to let you know.
And wine,
New
sir?
apprentice.
Yes, Mason. Bring the wine.
Very well, sir.
More wine, sir.
Is there an earlier scene that establishes the older apprentice butler?
He does have a different butler later.
She peeling potatoes in the back? I think that's what she's doing.
Wine, sir?
Yes.
The tension builder of the wine pour is fantastic.
Thank you, Mason.
Thank you.
So they have these wounds on their face because they may or may not have been
The main meal, sir.
reborn people who have died earlier.
Soup, sir?
Yes.
The main meal is gravy, by the looks of it.
It looks like
He
Kool-Aid.
puts his hand underneath it and then flicks it.
You got to get all those drips on your hands so it really sucks up the juices of your hand.
Oh, that's your mother.
Oh, but it's all over the table.
Please, light the overhead candles.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that tablecloth looks like it's all plastic. So
Did he just say
There you go, sir.
that's a plate? First of all,
Yeah.
they have.
I will light the overhead candle.
Wait, they have a plate and a bowl. They can't afford two plates. They've just got a plate and a bowl. Listen, that's the case in some households. We mustn't judge.
Yeah. It's this home video that basically somehow becomes a Harmony Korine film.
Yeah,
definitely has that vibe. It's
better
really
than
good.
Harmony Korine, because probably a better person made it than Harmony Korine.
Keel, who it's Keil. I'm never sure if I'm saying his name right. If you're watching out there, yell at me for it. They've made a new short film that we will be playing on the 25th called Poacher Poacher.
Oh, sweet.
And it's fairly self-explanatory by its title, One Who Poaches Poachers.
Yes, indeed.
Which actually it was not used by clips and stuff like that. It's an original. You see his friends as adults in this, and it's actually very well polished, which is so therefore, unless someone told you, you wouldn't even know it was made by the same people. But fear not, because they have promised me that they are planning, because they found another 10 tapes of things his little brother made that were all involving them wearing sci-fi helmets, and they should be making their sci-fi epic coming soon.
I thought you were going to be like, so Harmony Korine, if you're watching, and I'm like, you were going to tell me that Harmony Korine is a big fan of the show, and here I am being like, Harmony Korine's a terrible person, which he is,
right.
Which he is, but that's beside the point. Anyway, sorry. Go. Sorry,
but Trash Humpers still affected me very, very much.
Yeah.
I really like this idea of going back to like old footage that you recorded as a kid and turning it into something. So like I've been going through all my old DV tapes, and I have hundreds of hours of stuff that I recorded when I was like 15. And I've been thinking of doing something similar, like going through and trying to put something together, because I have so much random shit. I have whole movies that I made, but I have all the raw footage from it. So like I could recut them into something totally different now.
We had that Jason one that you made that we played.
Yeah. I have all the raw footage for that. I have one that I've never shown you, which is like a action movie that me and my friends made, where we pretend to run one of them over with a car.
Oh,
yeah.
We're watching that. That's
no, we will. Don't worry.
I did get run over by a car for real. I did.
I'm laughing at you right away for that.
True. Absolutely true. In a movie in
a movie. Okay, I think that in real life. I also got run over.
No, a real car rolled me. It wasn't meant to run me over.
Oh my god!
It ran over my leg. It's all right. I wasn't injured.
Good.
It's the weirdest story ever. But I was filming my final piece for sixth form college, which in the UK kind of goes up to 18, and then you go off to what we call university, right? So, I was filming my final piece for college, and I wanted to do a stunt where I was like hanging on to the front of a car. And my friend pulled his car up or whatever, and it was a fairly small car, like a Peugeot or something. But even lying on the hood, right, on the bonnet, I couldn't hold either side of the windscreen because my body was too long and it kind of would have been dangerous. So instead, I positioned myself, would have been dangerous. I'm about to ride on the hood of a really moving car, like with no harness or anything. Yeah, it's about to be dangerous. So I hold onto one side of the windscreen and position my body across the car. And I just say to him, look, drive straight. Don't like move the car. Just drive straight and drive like 15, 20 miles an hour, whatever. Don't drive too fast, kind of thing. So he did the opposite of that. He drove at least 35 miles an hour. And as he came into shot, we had cameras on either side of the road. As he came into shot, he started to swerve to try and make it look good. Of course, my body just went like this across the hood of the car. My feet hit the concrete, and of course, everything slows down. So you start to remember it in very vivid detail. And I remember looking at my hands holding the windscreen, looking down at my legs, just hitting the concrete like that, and going, yeah, it's not too fast. I think it'll be fine. And I let go. And my face hit the concrete, and thankfully didn't break any teeth or anything. It split my lip. I had a big fat lip for about a week. But apart from that, I was uninjured. Unless everything since then's been a dream. You know what I mean? Unless I'm like really in a coma.
Wait,
which totally could be. But when we...
I mean, this feels like it.
I've been living in your coma this whole time. Oh my god!
Yes, it's like that episode of Red Dwarf where Rimmer keeps effing with the AI and making it horribly depressing and anxious. And Lister's like, why can't you just think of anything fun? You know what I mean? And everything he thinks of just goes horribly wrong. That's apparently the nightmare we're all living in. So I may have died. But I have it on I have it on film that you see me slide off the hood that way, and then with the other camera, my face hits the concrete, and obviously everyone is looking at my face. But if you look at the camera the other side, you see the car go ba-dumph like that, and my friend thought, who was manning the camera that side, that it had rolled over my head. Anyway, when you check the footage again, sure enough, both my legs go under the back left tire. Like the car fully drives over both my legs. My legs were not affected at all. The most I got out of it was some scrapes on my thighs and a cut above my eye and a fat lip. That was it.
And you got probably a pretty cool shot then.
I did. And
yeah,
everyone,
there you go.
I even submitted it. And at no point did a teacher go, I'm sorry, how the fuck did you get that shot?
Yeah, what just happened?
Yeah, because it's clearly not a dummy, because I hit the concrete and immediately get up and go, like I'm at a platoon or something.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I do love a good dummy drop.
Oh yeah, me too.
Oh yeah.
I used to do that thing where we had a landing and a staircase, and I used to do that thing where I would throw a dummy from the landing down onto the staircase and then cut the camera and roll myself down the stairs and edit it together. It's the best. It's the best thing in the world.
Always the best.
Most fun you can have with anything.
All right. Well, I think there's a dummy in what we're about to watch, isn't there?
Unless we're calling Brian a dummy.
Oh, is he not? Is he not a dummy? Oh,
is
sorry.
Brian death real?
Sorry,
yes,
Brian.
This is not Brian's real death. No, this is a not finished edited clip where it's funny because he does turn into a dummy, but it's not in this clip. This is just a very, very super short clip of how stupid our gore effects are and how I direct people by saying, hey, you want to come over and shoot something? And they're like, okay, what are we doing? I don't know. They get there and I just tell them, stay this line and just react. And I'm going to make noises to scare you. This is the mysterious troll killer in the movie Little Bastard that we have just pretty much wrapped up. And we'll be releasing this after Terriblefest because that's too many things to do at once. And this is just a scene where I kill Brian. And Brian's a friend of mine, and he's in the movie, but he doesn't even have a name in the movie. So he's in the comments, you can name Brian if you want.
Well, the irony is the character's name is Brian Death.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, on IMDb,
yeah,
he's the Vape and Records guy. That's what he's called on IMDb. So, yeah, let's see Brian eat it.
Eat it.
Hey, there are people hurting here.
Oh, such reaction. Oh no! I've been hurt. Oh, so many growls.
That was tremendous.
And then it cuts to a dummy head on a stick wearing that jacket as I throw it down those stairs and walk towards the camera.
You just left a bunch of gushing sounds over.
Oh yeah.
Here. Was that intentional? Did you?
No. Well, yeah, actually, probably because when I edited into the rest of the film, I was like, "Do I want those sounds or not?"
You just left a lot of gushing noises over black. That itself alone that could be a piece in MoMA tomorrow.
Gushing sounds over black. It'll make us millions. It's our ticket out of here. That's
it.
Perfect.
Is. It's that stupid fucking banana tape. Only 1,000 times better.
Gushing sounds over black.
Yeah.
So last thing for me is showing the cover for the film that will end the show on the 25th is Shrek Crack. So show that picture. I believe I said that too.
Yep.
Yeah, just to get John's reaction to how high quality this film is.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yes. So look at that. Shrek Crack.
Yeah. So it's a 45-minute film about Shrek killing people at a Shrek rave. But then different filmmakers from across the States and up here in Canada added scenes into it to make it a feature. So randomly other people will be killed by this Shrek, or they will be doing crack. Some scenes do not involve both. Some scenes just involve one of those two things.
In Ireland, they could call it Shrek Crack, but spelt differently because you've got this wonderful green cover. They could think it was just a bunch of people getting drunk on a Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Just a
Are you
normal
up
day
for
in
the
Ireland.
crack, Shrek? Yes, I'm up for the crack.
Before you play us out with a suiting clip, Morgan, from your archives, I will mention that you will have a show coming up soon on our next live show with you on your channel. Is the Steve Gutenberg show?
Yeah, we're going to do a Steve Gutenberg tribute because apparently the news in LA does not know who Steve Gutenberg is anymore, which is just that's awful. That's worse than the wildfires. Awful. No, actually, you know what? I can't believe I said that. It's not.
Listen, in the grand scheme of things, like if you look at the big picture of all of human existence, through which there have been terrible things, wars, death, destruction, dishonor, all of it.
Keep it light.
But if you look out, people not knowing who Steve Gutenberg is a bigger problem than you might think.
It's atrocious. Yes, no, I agree. It's a bad thing. So we're going to do our part by we're going to show a Steve Gutenberg movie, my favorite, Short Circuit. I love Short Circuit. And then I also have
talking about brown face.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to say that. But yes, you're right. Bringing it around. Good old Fisher Stevens.
Yeah.
And then
they did so much for the environment, so it's okay, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
yes,
it is.
You're
It's
right.
fine.
I also have a pilot for a show called No Soap Radio, which is an early 80s sitcom that only lasted for 5 episodes. And it, of course, stars Steve Gutenberg. So it's actually really rare. I've never been able to find it anywhere else online. So yeah, tune in for that, which is, I think, February 27th, I think, is when I'm doing it. Yeah, February 27th. There you go.
when we do record that in the next near future, since you have not picked up the most recent package of tapes that are brought for you, Morgan, we got a recent box of very specific type tapes, including one that's teaching children to watch out for landmines. Which,
keep it light.
But I've left all that at eyesore, and I'll show them during the show, though, so at least we can look at them. The only one I took home connects back to us talking about some English television, which I needed because, as well as this is for the distributor and retail promotion use only. I love that. Love those stickers on there.
Beauty.
For Kevin and Perry Go Large.
Oh,
what the fuck is that?
No.
Yeah.
It's Harry Enfield and Kathy Quirk, who I think has won like many BAFTAs and things.
Yeah.
Kathy Burke, sorry. What did I say?
Yeah.
Kathy Quirk? That's an even better name. That's what her name should be.
Quirky Burky.
Quirky Burky. They had these 2 characters on the Harry Enfield show, which was sort of just stroppy teenagers. And the joke, like a lot of Harry Enfield repetitive jokes, get old. I think Harry Enfield's fantastic, but I think when he kind of does the same character over and over and over and over again, by about the 4th time, you're like, all right, it's good, you know. But they decided to make a feature film, and it's
pure filth.
Yeah, it is.
Amazing.
It's up there with like Fat Slags that Giles from Buffy is in, which is a live action version of the Viz. So we had an adult comic book in the UK for decades called Viz, and it was sort of pitched squarely at like naughty teenagers, essentially, through to like early 20s.
Dirty or Mad?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay.
Yes,
All right.
Mad, but with like
Mad and heavy metal kind of crossed over.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yeah, exactly. And they had a couple of characters that were, you know, incredibly PC and wonderful, called Fat Slags, which was about 2 larger women from the borough of Essex, the county of Essex, who, let's just say, have many attempts to be promiscuous by wearing.
Well, you don't get a title like that without trying, right?
Yes, exactly. And they made, in the early 2000s, they went ahead and made that as a live action film.
Well,
Kind of like
go.
Garbage Pail Kids, the movie, but with large, you know, comically made up women. And the guy who played Rupert on Buffy, whose name is eluding me right now, he's on Ted Lasso as well.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what it is. Anthony something Head.
Anthony Stewart
Head. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I remember his head. His name.
Yes,
Yeah.
Anthony Stewart Head is in Fat Slags, and there's a whole history of making.
What a fucking lie! That's all you need. That's the title. Like that's just the throw line or the log line. Anthony Stewart Head is in Fat Slags. There you go. That's all you need. Done.
Did you like Buffy?
Yeah,
and
if you
you were
like
a
Buffy,
teenager between
you're gonna love
17
Fat
and
Slags.
23. Yeah, you're gonna love Fat Slags.
Straight from Repo the Genetic Opera. It's
Yeah,
Fat
but
Slags.
yes, you've got Kevin and Perry Go Large.
Yeah, which I was not ready for just how gross it was. Every bodily fluid is in there at least twice, and every scene ends with an animatronic boner. Like every scene.
Yeah.
How many bodily fluids are there, Adam? I mean, just for specificity. What are we?
Well, I mean, we have spit,
Okay.
blood, semen.
Oh, okay.
And urine, puke, and poop.
Wow. I mean, the big six. There you go.
Yeah. Sweat is the only one that I mean, and Sweat is probably in it at least.
Yeah,
twice
it
as
is
well.
actually. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he
Yeah.
does sweat a lot in scenes, and then cartoonishly turns red, which looks like he's got like some disease or something because they
Right.
try to make him look embarrassed.
Now, also, let us be clear: this is a well into middle-aged man playing a teenager. Like this is full like Python in Meaning of Life, where they're all like 56 playing like private school kids. That's
Kathy,
what
who is the same age and was normally playing characters that would be like his trailer park wife in other bits, plays his male best friend Perry.
Yeah.
Yet the weirdest part is all the girls they're after are 19-year-old girls, which becomes really awkward.
Yeah, everyone else is of age in the film, except they're not of age, but they're of age in terms of the age that
the right age they're supposed to be. They go to Ibiza to pick up girls, and all the girls are young girls, and they're supposed to be these virgin 17-year-old boys, which is oh my god, yeah. It's the kind of thing you could talk about, but I don't even think I'd want to play it for other people. And normally Harry Enfield stuff is kind of rude to that level, but it was like someone told them you can get away with this now because it's the movie, and they're like, I don't know what to do. Just
they were going after like the American Pie audience and that kind of crowd, I guess. So,
but imagine, and I could imagine that being pitched to like the same producers, going, "Hey, would you like to release this for us in America?" And the makers of American Pie going, "Fuck no,
no fucking way."
We made high art by comparison.
Yeah, by comparison. But no, I strongly urge people that there is a whole obviously
find Fat Slags.
Fat Slags, but more importantly, there is a layer to the British film industry, the most famous of which, much like Hammer Horror, is the Carry On films. So Hammer Horror is to horror, Carry On is to end of the pier, seaside postcard, cheeky sex comedies. Right? Yeah. And they made one, I think, in the 90s with like Rick Mail in it or whatever. But since Carry On came out, there has been this history of what near the knuckle TV show can we blow up into a movie and make like 18 rated or R rated, right? So On the Buses got like, which was just like a tea time, we're on the buses, mom, kind of like British sitcom. They did like an R-rated On the Buses version that was sort of like Carry On, but on the buses. So, women walking in and all their clothes fall off on a bus. Oh, Lord Lubberducks, that kind of thing.
I mean, you're only talking it up for me right now. This all sounds great.
A whole slew. There's the Adventures of a Cab Driver with Robin Asquith, who's the ugliest man on the planet, yet somehow runs around in gross tidy whities pulling large-chested 70s models. The Confessions of a Taxi Driver, Confessions of a Window Cleaner. There's a whole bunch, and then you get things like Fat Slags and things like the Harry Enfield movie and things like they did a Bottom film, Guest House Paradiso.
Yeah.
And, all those kind of things. It's a rich vein of like shitty movies that I think has not been tapped because everyone thinks of England as like, costume dramas and Hugh Grant and bullshit, right? Or on the other end, Kes, lots of miserable northerners not being allowed to be happy for more than 5 minutes. But really all they want to do is sing, dance, or raise fucking kestrels. Anyway, those are the two movies everyone thinks of, right? It's either Four Weddings or it's Full Monty, right? Or it's for Sense and Sensibility. Those are like the three things. But no, we have a rich seam of very, very bad, poor taste. You thought Adam Sandler sucked. Oh, wait. So you the British fucking... I mean, it makes Jack and Jill look like high art.
Let's take it out of here with a little surprise clip that you just happened to find as we were talking.
Well, yeah. I mean, you brought up the fact that you enjoy Canadian things like Kids in the Hall and also somehow the Toronto Canadiens, which I will tell you, no Canadian likes. That shows...
Leafs.
Yeah,
the Maple Leafs.
Oh, sorry, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Yeah, see how much
Leafs,
I know about hockey.
It's Montreal. It's the Toronto
Montreal Canadiens.
Habitant.
I'm gonna get beat up by a bunch of hockey dudes or something now.
Oh, they'll at least jersey you.
Or swirly me.
Yeah.
So I found this on a tape.
Of course, you eat a bucket of Tim Hortons.
I found this on a tape that I recently got, and it's from it. It aired on Much Music's, and it's a music video that aired during Toronto Rocks, which was like a top 40 rock and roll show that they used to do on Much Music. And I don't know who these people are. Something tells me that they're like radio show hosts that were like local radio guys that just made this. But it is about being a Toronto Maple Leafs fan in Toronto.
Okay.
This is the kind of
for the Leafs and by
magic you see.
Really should have been an
WOC
easy win for us.
All these guys are faces made for radio.
Look at that old Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah.
It's now a Loblaws.
Yeah.
This guy's hair and everything. It's just wonderful.
I mean, he looks like Harry Shearer, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a Canadian Spinal Tap.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna assume
Beach Boys.
I see. They're wearing the Chum FM shirt. But I feel like they were on Chum as radio DJs.
A lot of our radio guys look like that.
This song is by Skullet Stash Dude. He wrote this.
The Unknown Comics in the background.
Yeah, I know. I love it. He's going to show up a little bit more.
I'm going to go watch Night Patrol. See you guys.
Yeah. This is the height of comedy.
No. Even the Unknown Comic doesn't want the tickets. Yep, and they always do, apparently.
They do, yeah.
This is for the 80s, and they were always been famous.
I'm just really mad at John Carpenter for making this music video.
Fred Savage. What's he doing there?
He's just in Toronto, Canada.
What I really like is, I mean, obviously we're obsessed with the skullet and the stash of the guy at the front, but let us not underestimate the trailer park mullet and dirt stash of the guy in the middle.
Yeah.
He's basically Bubbles from the trailer park boys.
Playing the table, apparently. Look, you got your money. Oh yeah, that guy's great.
He is phenomenal. Look at that, like blonde, strawberry blonde mullet.
I just threw his money away.
Well, what an idiot! You got your money back. You threw it away. You should have just kept the tickets in the first place.
Nothing personal, guys. It's just we're fed up.
So
apparently we've always been fed up with the Leafs.
I love how mild that satire is. If that was done in any other country, it would literally be called Fuck the Leafs. And it would literally just be listing every shitty thing that's ever happened in hockey ever without pulling any punches. But no, in Canada, you're just throwing a flag on the ground and being like, oh, just give me my money back. Oh, you know, it's lovely.
I mean,
Very sweet. I like it.
We're polite even in our hatred. That's
its upbeatness made it sound like it was a positive statement. And then you're like, wait, nothing about this is positive for the Leafs.
No. I'm sorry about that, guys, but we're just fed up. I love that as well. We're just fed up.
But he apologized.
We apologize first, though.
Got to apologize first. Yes, that was the most Canadian way of hating something.
I love it. It's like what England used to be like. And I'm not one of those, like, I want to go backwards because I really don't. Everyone else does, it seems. But no, like England used to have that desperate need to be. That's why our comedy was so anarchic and weird, because we would just, that's where we just like shed off this weird social nicety that we just cannot get rid of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where everything is our fault and we're ready for disappointment at the drop of a hat.
Amazing.
Well, I wonder what Canadian humor is going to be in the next couple of years. I think we're in an awkward stage.
Probably going to be pretty anti-American in the end.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens.
I'm so tired of satire. Anyone else completely tired of satire? Like satire just fucking shit the bed 5 years ago.
And that's
we
the
live
problem
in
with a lot of
satire.
us. Yeah, because now it just is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been my problem with Canadian humor for a while, because like, especially being in Toronto, and like a lot of the guys that I knew in comedy who ended up getting writers' jobs have writers' jobs on like air farce, things like that. So it's like it's all is slightly political satire while being, aren't we slightly funny?
Only slightly.
Go back to surreal, weird stuff that has social commentary in it, but is also completely mad and about monkeys or sausages or something,
or about hating the Leafs. There you go.
Or about hating the go back to getting John Carpenter and Third Stash Trailer Park Guy.
Don't forget the Unknown Comic. He showed up too, and Fred Savage.
Yeah, I'm shocked there was no like Gong Show style dance off number.
Yeah. But that's what I'm going to say to everything from now on. Whenever I've had a bad evening, I'm just going to go, no, I'm really sorry about it, guys. I'm just really fed up. That's how I'm going to bow out of every social
engagement. It's the most polite way to get your point across.
I mean, is there really a better way to end this show right now?
No.
But to say, we've got lots of crazy things coming up. There is the new PM Entertainment podcast coming up. There is more WOC Archive coming up. There is Terriblefest 8 coming up.
Can't wait.
But when it's all over, I'm sorry, but we're just fed up.
We're just fed up.
I know I am.
We love Audio Video Plus.